What's going on? Rob Fish here. While some of us are content riding around town on our motorcycles, others have a more grand vision of exploration and seeing the world. So in this video, we'll be discussing international travel tips, and I'll be telling you of an awesome trip that I recently took. So without further delay, let's dive right in. So here's a story about a recent experience of mine. I was in the film studio here at BikeBandit.com making more videos for you, our audience and customers. When we wrapped up the shoot, I got back to my desk to find a note that read, "Rob, see the CEO in his office ASAP." I knew I wasn't in any sort of trouble or anything, but my mind was definitely in a state of I walked into the CEO's office. He said, "Feel like taking your new bike on a ride to go whale watching in Baja, Mexico?" Well, damn hell yeah, I do. So the CEO gave me all the details such as dates and time, mileage per day, the route, destination, and the like. So the trip we had planned would cover somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 miles and be roughly a week in length, and it would take us over halfway down the Baja Peninsula of Mexico. In the back of my mind, I was thinking about all the details that I'd need to address before the departure date. I had just 1 week to get things dialed in. Then I thought about how this topic would make a great video. The prep of the bike and sorting out the legal items and stuff like that. So here's my international travel list of things I had to handle. First, I'll address things needed for the bike, then we'll go over things needed for the rider, and finally we'll talk about things that you need to think about in an overall perspective. There's a lot of little details to handle for sure, but here's a basic rundown. First things first, let's talk about the essential things you need for your bike on a trip to a place like Baja, California. Bikes need gasoline to run, and sometimes gas stations are few and far between in Baja, and some aren't even gas stations. Oftentimes you might get gas from somebody sitting in their front yard at the ready with a 55-gallon drum, a hand pump, and a gallon milk jug. Honest. Now, I knew the BMW, the GS Adventure with its 8-gallon tank, had plenty of fuel range for this trip. The only thing I had to consider was filling up at stations that offered 91 octane premium fuel. What about tools and other riding accessories? Personally, I carry a bike-specific toolkit plus a couple different multi-tools. I carry a tire repair kit with 2 times the amount of CO2 cartridges that come with it. I also carry a tow strap, JB weld, a disc lock and cover for when I'm parked overnight, zip ties, and a roll of gaffer's tape. Most important thing about your toolkit though is to know how to use each item. So practice with just the items in your kit and make adjustments as needed. Weight and space will truly dictate what you can carry. I also carry a compass and a paper map. It's a good idea to carry a paper map of your destination as well. I know in a world of GPS and all of this other wondrous gadgetry, a map doesn't ever fail to turn on, and it doesn't break in a crash. Just saying. I also carry 2 copies of the bike's insurance, one on the bike and one on myself, the rider. So speaking of the rider, let's move our attention in that direction now. Your bike is a machine that can break, and so are you. So be physically prepared for your trip. Being in a good general state of fitness isn't a bad idea. For entry into some countries, vaccinations are required. On the other hand, like the old saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The United States Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization can provide you suggestions for vaccinations and other travel precautions for your trip to certain countries. Hydration is key, and dehydration usually doesn't present itself until you're way past the point of just simple thirst. On my Baja trip, I got dehydrated one day, and I was basically down for the count the next. Totally lost an entire day of my trip as a recovery day. It sucked. A wise man once gave me a great tip. For every tank of fuel for your bike, you drink a full hydration bladder of water. With my 8-gallon tank though, I made it 2 bladders, and after that forced day off for the rest of the trip, I finished off each day with a bottle of electrolytes. Another tip that the same fellow gave me is that things for the bike go on the bike, and things for the rider go on the rider. So tools went on the bike, and things like paperwork stayed on me, the rider. Speaking of, let's talk paperwork now. I carry in one of my chest pockets these items: my passport, my driver's license, and insurance cards, both for the bike and my medical, and my wallet. So you might be going somewhere where you need to actually obtain an IDP, an international driving permit, but I didn't need one for going to Mexico. But check your destination country for specifics. It usually depends on how long you'll be in the country. For the above mentioned items, make sure that their expiration dates are past your return date. Inside my wallet, I keep some cash, and as many places don't accept credit cards, but I don't keep all of it. I stash some here, some there, and a little bit of cash on the bike too. If you carry prescription meds, make sure that the bottle is the original one with the doctor's information perfectly legible. There are a few other items one should carry when traveling, just basic stuff, over-the-counter meds. Tylenol, Advil, Tums, and Imodium AD, and eye drops. Personally, I carry my full medical kit. One essential thing to cover is keeping the right people informed about your trip. So make photocopies of all your documents and give them to a friend or a loved one who's actually not on the trip with you. And give them a rough itinerary of your trip as well. Where you'll be and roughly when, hotels that you might be staying at, and again, I mean, that just makes sense. Also, give your bank a call and tell them that you'll be traveling. I know of somebody who was on a multi-state trip here in the States, and the bank, that just froze their cards as a precautionary measure, as they thought the card was actually stolen. And being in a foreign country would just be even more of a hassle. Knowing the exchange rate of your intended country of travel as well, that's not a bad idea either. There are other aspects to international travel for sure. Sometimes it's little things like electrical wall outlets and what octane fuel is available for your bike. And so this video just touches on the major facets. Learning the language of your country of travel, that might be a little bit excessive, but learning some of the local customs, that might just come in handy. Some countries have religious customs, some have laws, for instance regarding smoking cigarettes or even kissing in public. So do yourself a favor and read up a bit on your intended country or countries of travel. There are so many facets to cover and there's no way we can cover them all. So if you've got another tip that might help out another rider on their own personal adventure, feel free and leave them in the comments below. There's something super cool about riding your bike to a foreign country. New roads, different foods, music, and people. So go ahead and pack up your stuff and go exploring. Get out of your usual routine and see this magnificent world that we have. You'll find that most people are warm and kind, will want to actually know about your trip, and are willing to help in any way that they can. So take a camera, a good attitude, and have some fun on your motorcycle. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned a tip or two. If this is your first time joining us here in the Bike Bandit Garage, please remember to hit the red button and subscribe to our channel. Each week, we'll bring you more videos on different subjects in an effort to make your time motorcycling just that much more enjoyable, such as how to swap out a clutch or how to have good off-road trail etiquette, or maybe just a crash course on motorcycle chains. We love talking motorcycles around here at BikeBandit.com, and if you've got a topic in mind that you'd like to know more about, let us know. Until next time, travel safe. Here are a few images from my trip. Nothing but an amazing time. I do want to say thanks again to Les at Motortrex, Ural Motorcycles and BMW Motorrad of North America, and the entire crew at San Diego BMW Motorcycles. Thanks again for watching. Now let's go ride.